Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, preaching his word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And I say shalom to you Akim out there. And this is a sit-down lesson that I wanted to bring out in regards to this news article. And this is from the Jerusalem Post, published December 31st, 2022, and last updated December 31st, 2022 by Reuters. And it reads, North Korea fires ballistic missile after unprecedented, if I pronounce that right, years of tests. And it says North Korea fired a ballistic missile towards the sea east to the Korean Peninsula on Saturday. The South Korean military says it is the latest in a unprecedented number of missile tests conducted by North Korea this year. And it says Japan Coast Guard said North Korea fired what could be a ballistic missile and sent notice about a second possibility missile. It says North Korea fired the missile the day after South Korea Defense Ministry announced it had successfully conducted a test flight of a solid propellant space launch vehicle. It says on Monday, five North Korean drones have crossed into the South Korean, prompting South Korea's military to scramble fighter jets and attack helicopters to try to shoot them down in the first such incursion since 2017. Not conducting Saturday, North Korea fired around 70 ballistic missiles about 38 times this year, the UN news agency says, including about 8 intercontinental ballistic missiles, which is the ICBMs. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 10. Double is good, like double cheeseburgers. The best double This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 10. Get your plowshares and the swords and the pointy hooks, and let the weak say I am strong. And this is the book of Matthew 24 and 6. Matthew 24 and 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Matthew 24 and 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Right, that's why we see a continual rise and increase of nations against nations and kingdom against kingdoms. And these nations are upgrading and firing their nuclear capability, overspending in military spending, and updating their nuclear arsenals against their adversaries, And I seen one article as well too. The United States told the UN that North Korea's latest missile test fired east of the Korean Peninsula, talking about it doesn't pose a threat. I'm like, I don't know about that now, because North Korea, they got allies as well too. United States must have forgot that North Korea don't have allies. They got allies. Just as much as the United States got allies, North Korea, they got allies as well too. China, Russia, Iran, does that ring a bell? So, matter of fact, I'm gonna bring it out. Right, because you have the news article stating right here. It says the United States says North Korea ballistic missile launches doesn't pose immediate threat to allies. Yes, it does. They do pose a threat to allies. They pose a threat to South Korea, Japan, and yes, you too, United States. And it says the U.S. says North Korea ballistic missile launches doesn't pose an immediate threat to allies. Yes, it does. It poses allies close to Guam, which is a U.S. territory. They recently launched missiles over there as well too, over there in Japan and South Korea. Yes, they does pose it immediately threat about that. So I don't know what the United States administration is talking about. North Korea do poses a threat to the United States and its allies as well too. That's why I brought out that Joel 3:10, let the weak say I am strong. That's why these nations got nuclear capability, military, which they are not playing around. They definitely sincere about this. That's why it says, let the weak say I am strong. These nations are not afraid of the daughter of Babylon. They are not afraid of the United States. You know, North Korea's latest ballistic missile launch does not pose an immediate threat to the U.S. personnel or territory or to Washington allies. The United States says North Korean fired three ballistic missiles towards the sea of the east, the Korean Peninsula on Saturday. Also, they fired three more ballistic missiles. Okay, so I thought it was just one they fired, so they fired additional two more. So it was a total of three firing missiles. Right, because it says North Korea fires three ballistic missiles towards this sea east of the Korean Peninsula on Saturday, according to the South Korean military. And it says U.S. commitments to the defense of South Korea and Japan remains an iron clay. The U.S. Indo-Pacific Command says in a statement, adding the launches by North Korea highlighting the destabilized impact of its weapons of mass destruction and ballistic programs. I don't think so. They're gonna keep on creating weapons of mass that you know what, and they're gonna keep on testing, firing their hypersonic missiles, their long-range missiles, their short-range missiles, their intercontinental ballistic missiles. They're gonna keep on continuing doing it. They're gonna keep on continuing their nuclear capability. Just like Kim Jong-un made that statement in 2020. In the end of the year 2022, he said he's going to make sure his country as a nuclear state. And the UN and these other Western countries and the United States and its allies, they're not going to stop from what Kim Jong-un and his regime doing with these nuclear missiles tests into their nuclear arsenal as well too. He made that statement like 3 or 4 times already, and he kept his word by that. So hey, that's why I brought up that Joel 3:10. Let the weak say I am strong. We seeing the strength of these nations. Back then, they really didn't have the super nuclear power like the United States and its allies have. Now, as time progresses on, now you're starting to see that. Hey, these nations are starting to say, hey, we got that military might and strength. Hey, we're starting to be strong right now. And we are sending that bold message to the United States and these Western allies as well too. And we got allies on top of that. So yeah, I'm gonna bring out Matthew 24:6. This is not me saying it. This is according to the Holy Scriptures has stated how these things are going to happen in the latter days, and that's what we're seeing right now. The rise and increase of nations against nations and kingdom against kingdoms. And I'm Matthew 24:6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet right. Because we've seen the increase of these things. And we're going to see it increase more and more and more as we entering 2023. This is Matthew 24:7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Right, you're going to see the earthquakes in diverse places. It's going to increase more and more and more. We're going to see the pestilence and the weather conditions. And in these other, in the health categories, you're going to see that as well too. In those two different categories of pestilence, you're going to see the rise and increase of famines, just like we did in 2021 all the way into 2022. We're going to see that increase in 2023 as well too. Then we're going to see nations against nations and kingdoms against kingdoms as well too. You know. So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying to the listeners out there, along with the scripture that I brought out with it, along with reading the two news articles as you seen. So with that, once again, I hope this sit-down lesson was edifying of these two news articles that I brought out along with the scriptures. So with that, I would like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, preaching this word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim that be like unto the spiritual word, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And until next time, I will say shalom in the Bible.